I wanted to wish everybody a warm, cozy, loving holiday season and a happy and healthy and prosperous new year. And in this kind of mini episode, I wanted to talk a little bit about prosperity. We know that it has a lot of meanings. It can mean overall well-being, safety, and there's also an economic stability that is implied in the word prosperity. And where Truth Tastes Funny, my podcast, is kind of the keep ourselves sane and find tips for surviving and thriving in a chaotic world. I have launched a new podcast called Yes Brand that focuses on messaging and getting your business to the next level and focuses on economic prosperity in particular. Founders, CEOs, colleagues of mine from the branding space all come on the show. There's a lot of laughs and kind of a break from the grind. I think of it as a break from the grind. I don't like the guests to feel like, oh man, I'm going out, I'm going to promote myself, I'm going to do that. It's let's talk about your brand. Let's talk about challenges you've had. Let's just kind of shoot the breeze for a little bit and come up with some funny ideas and play a little bit. I realized that my work with brands had always been about selling the truth. Like that's what I did. I was a publicist for people who created great advertising. And so I'm like, these are people who create ads and bond with audiences for a living. I can't overstate the impact of what they're doing. I can't overstate the quality or the creativity of what they're doing. I have to nail it. I have to hit the message head on and be really, really accurate with what I'm saying about them. And so that was the beginning of my role in publicity, creative writing, creativity around storytelling, brand storytelling, and all of that. And I wanted to put that into a podcast. I also wanted to put it into a business model. And that's where I came up with the Yes Brand moniker, from the yes and rule of improvisational comedy, where you accept the offer of your scene partners. Somebody says, I always use this example, somebody says, Martians have just landed. And you can't say, no, they haven't. You say, yes, and they're wearing Prada suits, or whatever it might be, to keep the imagination flowing and the conversation going. And that's how I do it on the Yes Brand podcast, on the show. That's how I do it working with clients. I mean, what you see in the show is a little kind of a fun snippet, entertaining version of what happens in the boardroom or on site with my clients. But it's really designed to open our minds and have fun and take a chance. And what I've also learned is that on a personal level, on a human level, accepting the offer is about more than improv or more than comedy or even more than branding. It's about finding a kind of a happiness formula in your life. And as we get all kind of warm and mushy in the holiday season, it's a point I want to make, which is that if you look at what I call successful humans, they have a sense of humor about themselves. They maintain a sense of humor about themselves. They can laugh at themselves. It doesn't matter how really wealthy they are. There's a humility that allows them to accept the offer of the person they're speaking with and kind of embrace that with positivity. It unlocks, in my view, acceptance and cooperation among strangers, among the estranged. And, the first 8 episodes of my show are available now on yesbrandmethod.com. And that's where you'll find all the information about the podcast. And keep in mind when you're listening to these episodes that this method of kind of how we relate to one another, this is not a transactional. I hate that word. Oh, it's transactional. What does that mean? If you give me something and I give you something, that's a transaction. That's why they call it a transaction. But it's not devoid of a human element. It's just so silly. But anyway, I'll talk more about that stuff in my forthcoming book, The Yes Brand Method. But first I have to finish my first book, which is titled Hersh Repun's So-Called Thought Leader. And that will come out in June 2023, simply because I've now said that it's going to come out in June 2023. So now that I put it out there, It has to come out. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about successful humans, unsuccessful humans. People who are unsuccessful at being human often are devoid of a sense of humor about themselves because they are so insecure, no matter how much money they have. They're so insecure that they are threatened by even the most vulnerable person. Whereas a successful human will feel almost compelled to give back or to do good or to bring purpose to their work. They're less likely to try to scam people. And so it's good to laugh and it's good to have fun. But doing these two podcasts, I have not been able to escape the deep human beating heart that all of these amazing guests that I've been so fortunate to have bring to the show. And it's what traditionally over my career, the clients that I've chosen to work with and who have chosen me have brought as well. And that's not altruistic. It's not purpose and goodness and kindness and all of these things. These are not altruistic qualities in a brand or a business, I think. These are just good business. That's the key to a strong business. Oh, this was the other thing that I just, in this little mini episode, which is going to really be about 10 minutes, I do want to talk about the guests that you're going to see on Yes Brand. The first 8 guests I'm really grateful to. It's a new thing. They don't know what it's going to be. Unbound Spirits, which is a new spirits company that is about to unleash the Maelstrom bourbon onto the world right after the holidays. I'm pretty sure in January it's coming out. And my friends, Martin Pisani and Kerry Shaw Brown, are the CEOs and founders behind this. They come from both the commercial production and advertising world and from the wine and spirits world. So our conversation was really, really interesting, and you can learn a lot from those guys. They know what they're doing. I switched gears in the second episode of Yes Brand, talking with Sarah Yamtich. And Sarah's the CEO and founder of Conscious Conversion. And that takes the paradigm for the entire universe, creative, spiritual entrepreneurs who are trying to do this for their business, for their livelihood, help the world. My guest, Steve Ramona from Infone, took a really fun turn in that conversation because I realized as a CEO, he's so identified with the both the simplicity and the genius of Infone and what it does that I thought he should be a character in whatever campaign we create. Next, I speak with the Drop-In CEO, Deb Cavello. All I can think of for her is, I try to give each person like a gift of a tagline if they want to use it or whatever. I think she's the Mary Poppins of the C-suite. That's my line for her. For Spear and Clover, Jason Skizik. Man, when you hear this guy's voice, you're going to get it. You're going to get it. You're going to hear his voice and you're going to think that's a dude that I could sit down with and talk about my life. And the way I would describe him is I would say he's not a life coach. He's like a community for life coach. The Good Eggs. The Good Eggs is not only a children's book series created by the author Sandy Sharamataro, but it's also a foundation, the Good Eggs Foundation. And all I can say about that is getting egged never felt so good. JD Gershbein, who is a personal branding expert, a professional image expert. You'll see by the way he carries himself how stylish and graceful he is and appreciative of everybody's individual personality. Now he helps them use that on things like LinkedIn. And then finally in this first set of episodes is Nonfiction Brand, which is DP Knudten, who's another colleague of mine who is what I would call a branding provocateur. His style very different from mine. We're both creative. We both help people find the truth of their brand, but we do it in such a different way and yet get along so well. And that's a big thing. I feel like going into 2023, I really want to embrace a shared economy. One of my good friends, Jordan Brady, is fond of saying there are no secrets in a shared economy. And that's what he's done by creating a commercial directing film school. Openness and circle back around and round this off with a happiness formula and a yes brand method to accept what people are putting out there, respect it, say yes, yes, yes. I appreciate what you're telling me, and we can do this. If we can all learn to do that, I think we'll be more prosperous. We'll get the things done that we are trying to do, because in every breath we take we're kind of building something new together. So the first season of the Yes Brand podcast will be selling the truth. The second season's theme will be leading the pack, and the third seasons will be embracing the competition. Then the fourth season will be called Breaking the Ice, which is going to really focus on comedy and what comedy does and the ways in which comedy can be used strategically and socially. And that's it. And then, of course, there's season 2 and 3 of Truth Tastes Funny. And huge thanks to all the loyal listeners of there. You don't get too proud to say, I think it's 29,000 downloads, and putting out 2 episodes a week for 6 months, getting the top 5% of podcasts globally, according to Listen Notes. And that's just the beginning. That's the first 6 months of this podcast. So by virtue of doing the Yes Brand podcast and getting all you people who are listening to Truth Tastes Funny to go to yesbrandmethod.com. Yesbrandmethod.com. Check out one of these episodes. Pick one. Check out one of these episodes. Let me know. Leave, hopefully, a 5-star review would be appreciated. But, whatever. Doesn't have to be 5 stars. It could be 5 stars. And leave a review. And with that, I will wish you and yours all good things to come in 2023. And thank you again for your time. I know this went into the 16-minute and 50-second mark, but hopefully it'll get edited down to 15 minutes and 57 seconds. Take it easy. Happy New Year, everybody.
All right.
If you liked the show,
Yes, and
it worked for you,
yes, then
subscribe and leave a
Yes, Brand.
5-star review.
Yes, Brand.
Tell all your friends.
Yes, Brand.
Get your branding here.
Yes, Brand.
Get your branding here.
Yes, Brand.
Did I make it clear?
Yes, Brand.
Get your branding on
Yes.
before they're gone.
Yes.